Hello, welcome to today's Read Aloud, Think Aloud. I'm Mrs. Bluebird, and today's story is called Koala Lou, and it's written by Mem Fox and illustrated by Pamela Lofts. Now there's lots of actions that we can do to join in, and I'm going to ask you what you think all the way through. Here we go. There was once a baby koala so soft and round that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koala Lou. The emu loved her, the platypus loved her, and even tough little koala claws next door loved her. Have a close look and see if you can see all the possums. Oh, and a bilby. But it was her mother who loved her most of all. 100 times a day she would laugh and shake her head and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Now here's our first action. Whenever she stretched in the early morning sun, can you do that? Oh, nice. Or climbed a gum tree, or bravely went down the track all by herself, her mother would smile and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." The years passed and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koala Lou. Soon her mother was so busy she didn't have time to tell Koala Lou that she loved her, although of course she did. Can you give me a wave if you like to climb trees or hang on the monkey bars? Hopefully you don't eat leaves. Oh. Every night, as she curled up under the stars, Koala Lou thought about the times when her mother would look at her and say, "Koala Lou, I do love you." And she longed for her to say it again. One night, Koala Lou had a splendid idea. That means a wonderful idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in the gum tree climbing event, and she would win, and her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say again, "Koala Lou, I do love you." Koala Lou began her training right away. She jogged and puffed. Can you jog? And lifted weights and panted. I'm going to lift 2 weights. Ready? Sometimes it helps if you make a noise. Like that. She hung from a branch with one claw at a time. Oh my goodness. With one claw at a time until she ached. She did push-ups till her stomach hurt. And last of all, she climbed the tallest tree that she could find, over and over and over again. Look at all this hard work. And here they're putting up a big sign, getting ready for the Bush Olympics. So exciting. Sometimes her mother would watch her and ask, "How you going, Blossom?" "Fine, just fine," Koala Lou would reply. "Yes, she is. I'm fine." At last, the day of the Bush Olympics arrived. Have a close look at all these spectators with their hats, and there's wattle and feathers. Got some bunting. Koala Claus had also entered the gum tree climbing, and everyone knew how fast she was. But Koala Lou wasn't scared. She saw her mother in the crowd and imagined her saying again, "Koala Lou, I do love you," and her heart filled with hope. Is it, Mum? It was Koala Claus who went first. Her climb was a record-breaking 22 meters in 70 seconds flat. Oh, here's the timekeeper and the measurement Tassie Devil. The spectators whistled and cheered and wildly waved their hats, their holiday hats. Can I do better than that? Thought Koala Lou. I must. As she stepped towards the tree, a hush fell over the crowd. On your mark, said the kookaburra. Get set, go! Now before we find out what happens, thumbs up if you think she's going to win, thumbs down for no, in the middle if you're not sure. Alright, here we go. Koala Lou leapt onto the tree. Up and up and up she climbed, higher and higher and higher, faster and faster and faster until there she was, right at the very top. The spectators roared and clapped and stamped their feet. Can you stamp your feet? I think she did well. But she wasn't fast enough. In spite of all her training and all her hoping, it was Koala Claus who won the gum tree climbing. Koala Lou came second. Koala Lou went off and hid. She heard the shouts of the Bush Olympics and cried her heart out. And you see her medal on the ground here. I don't know if she wants it. When the first stars of evening appeared in the sky, Koala Lou crept home through the dark and up into the gum tree. Her mother was waiting for her. Before she could say a word, her mother had flung her arms around her neck and said, Koala Lou, I do love you. I always have, and I always will. And she hugged her for a very long time. And that's the end. Thanks for reading along with me. See ya.